All right, so we have 4 sets of loudspeakers here, and I've been listening to all of these. Now, I've reviewed 3 of them now, and one of them, the Borresen X1s, I'll have a review coming later down the road for these, but I've been listening to these, and I'll just give you a spoiler here. My wife, Debbie, said these are her favorite speakers that I've ever had through here. So I'll get to these in a second, but let's go over these speakers. And I'm going to tell you the differences because all of them are vastly different in sound and in price, really. So let's start with the speaker I reviewed a while back, the Closer Acoustics Auggie with the bass open baffle units. I declared this the speaker system of the gods. I was so excited when they came because of their pure, clean, open sound up top from the little Auggie and the pleasant, pleasing bass from the bass units. You would think these things would just kick the bass in the room. They don't. It's actually kind of light, but it's just about right. But this little Auggie, I have to say, you got to be careful powering these speakers because this Auggie can sound very bright and very lean with some amplification. I like them with tubes and I like them with high power class D so far from what I've heard. But the Auggies are made in Poland and their sound alone without the bass units, I think they're 12 to 1500 a pair depending on the finish, is very lean and very crisp and very wide open. It's a single driver speaker. That means that driver handles all the frequencies. But when you pair it with the bass open baffles, it adds some foundation and beef to the sound. And even so, you want to pair these with either a very powerful Class D or something that has warmth and richness like tubes. But overall, once you get these amplified correctly, they are stunning. They're just so complete. But they can also sound a little bright with some amps I've noticed. So you got to be careful what you power them with. You want an amp with good bass performance, and these will sound just amazing with these bass open baffle units. Very, very amazing sound. So let's move on. We'll move on to this Galleon TS Voyager TL transmission line speaker. By the way, this setup is between $7 and $8 grand for the Closer Acoustics setup. Now, what about the Galleon? These are like $1,200 transmission line speakers. These have plenty of oomph and warmth in the mids and the bass. You don't need a sub with these. The treble's a little smoother. This is a smoothed out speaker, but they sound really pleasing and really musical. You're not going to get all that 3-dimensional airiness, but you will get that total solidified backbone to the music, that that push, that grunt, that oomph. So I love these for rock and metal especially. They sound awesome with high energy music. $1,200. They look nice. They sound great, and they're semi-affordable. $1,200. And no matter what amp I have run with these, whether it's tube, solid state, Class AB, or Class D, they have sounded really good and musical. For the money, these are really nice, especially if you listen to a lot of heavy, punchy music. Now, these are the Buchardt A700 LEs, brand new. They're not even shipping yet. I just posted my review the other day on these, and they are fabulous. They are, in my opinion, Buchardt's best speaker. I'm sure in their opinion too. These, I think, are in the mid 6,000 range. Everything is here inside the speaker from the amps. There's 450 watt amps per speaker. You have the DAC, and you can stream directly to them via the Platin Hub, which I talked about in the review. These have master tunings. You could change the tunings. You can calibrate it to your room. These will work in any room and sound absolutely heavenly and gorgeous. There's nothing to dislike about this speaker except if you're in the old school camp of liking to have amps and DACs in separate pieces. You don't need any of that with this speaker. This has everything you need included out of the box, and it's really, really beautiful to look at. And it's one of the finest, I'd say top 5 finest sounding speakers I've had, because it has that beautiful warm mid-range, bass down to 1920 hertz, and a more extended treble than Buchardt is usually known for. So these have some of that airiness and three-dimensionality. I was listening to these today again, and I was like, wow, these are actually even better than I thought they were. So these are really excellent speakers. If you're looking at Buchardt, know that these will even work in small rooms due to the new cardioid tuning, which I talked about in the review. If you didn't see it, go check it out. And now we have the Borresen X1s. Now, Borresen, I've talked about them. They are from Audio Group of Denmark. They have a few brands under the Audio Group of Denmark name, and Borresen is one. Access is the other. The Access Forte 1 amp is back there. They also make the Avic line. Really high-end stuff. They have a pair of speakers, bookshelf speakers that are $100,000 for the speakers. So these use trickle-down tech from those speakers. And I have to say, now these come in at $5,500 for the speaker, and there's something like $1,300 for the stands. I could be off on that, but that's pretty close. But these bolt to the stands. These stands are just beautiful, and I'll go over it when I review these, but there's something about the stands that I really like. That's pretty cool. And stands of this quality that I've seen are usually like $3,000. This is a fantastic stand, and it blends seamlessly with the speaker. Now the speaker is a hot rod. Again, my wife Debbie said these are her favorite speakers that I've ever had in here. And I have to say, this is just first impressions. I'm going to listen to them for a few more weeks before I do my review. And you know, sometimes first impressions we get excited, at least I do, but these have something about them that's very special in the treble. You can see it uses a ribbon tweeter. Now, the tweeter is not harsh. It's kind of smooth, semi-smooth, but very three-dimensional. The imaging, these might be the best imaging speakers that I've ever heard. And not that dry etched imaging, but like a wet, juicy imaging. Some of you might know what I'm trying to say. They're plump, they're full. The bass on these is remarkable. I think they go lower than they're rated for. Clarity, some warmth in the mids and punch. They sound very powerful. The most powerful sounding speakers of the bunch here. And yet at the same time, very magical. That's all I'll say. These are the most addictive speakers I've had through here in a long, long time, meaning when I sit down to listen, I never want to get up, and hours just pass away. Very nice build quality. This is a magnetic front grille. I'll show you that in the review when I get to the review, but I don't want to say too much other than everybody's going to want these at this price point. This is true high-end sound, true high-end good sound for not that crazy high-end money. They're not cheap, but you're getting qualities from their 100K speaker in this speaker, and it's absolutely outrageously good. The value with this and the Forte 1 is absolutely insane. $5,500 for this streamer amp DAC, and I will say this pairs perfectly with these. No other amp that I've tried with these sounds as good as the Forte. So if someone was looking at the X1s, I can highly recommend the Forte 1 as your amp. There's magic together. And once I do the full review, there'll be a lot more details that I'll share about them, as well as a beautiful sound demo. If you want to see a quick sound demo that I just recorded with my iPhone, but it still sounds pretty darn good, you can go to my Instagram at Steve Huff Official. So all of these speakers sound different, but they all sound really good in their own way. If you like transparency, crisp, open, see-through sound, the Auggie with the bass open baffle units, that's beautiful if that's your thing. They also can do well with rock, jazz, classical. These are kind of, they do everything, but they don't have that rich mid-range warmth that we get from some of the other speakers. So these are more on the transparent, airy side. These muscular, forceful, beefy, magic in the treble. I think this might be one of the finest trebles I've heard. Buchardt, overall, as a speaker, you can't go wrong. Has all the bass you need, all the mid-range beauty you need, that top-end sparkle with some three-dimensionality. Really beautiful sounds. Galleon TS 120 transmission line. I now own these, so they are here. They'll be here for comparison purposes because I think these deliver really good sound for the money. They're not going to compete with the Buchards. They don't compete with the Borresen, and they don't compete with the Closer. Totally different speaker. Think warm, punchy, not so clear and transparent like these others can do, but still a really musical performance. Like $1,200, it's a no-brainer if that's your budget. And they're not the easiest to drive, but yet I've driven them with this low wattage Bernoco, and it's my favorite amp with them next to Thomas's TS A700, which I'll be reviewing soon as well. So these are just the speakers that I have here right now and that I've been listening to and comparing for my own curiosity. And I do have an all-out favorite of these, but I'll talk about that another time. The Auggies are just beautiful, beautiful speakers. Borresens are, they're Borresen, so extreme value. Buchards, made in Denmark, made in Poland. These are made in China, hence the lower price, but still fabulous quality. I have them on Dynaudio Stand 6s, I believe. So I will be reviewing the X1s down the road a bit. I want to really log in some listening time to them. These came from the fine folks at Next Level HiFi in Wayne, Illinois. I'll put a link in the video description if you want to check them out. They have a beautiful store in Wayne, Illinois. I was there once, and I'd like to get there again sometime. But they sell the entire Borresen line, the Access line, the Avic line, what have you. So check out Next Level HiFi. If it wasn't for them, I would not have these in for review. So hope you enjoyed this quick look at these different sounding but all wonderful speakers and price points. And I will see you soon in the next video. I think I'm going to jam out to some Bob Marley. I've been listening to some of his albums in the last few days, getting back into it. So hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next one. Looks like it's nice outside today. Might have to go outside, take a walk.